Welcome to the Friday 13th YouTube channel, Metalheads. You're going to be watching an interview today with the bass guitarist from Danish thrash power metal band Manticora. Now, I just interviewed Kasper. I'd like to thank Kasper for doing this interview. I'd also like to thank Mighty Music for setting this up. So the band have just released a new album called Mycelium on Mighty Music. So thanks for watching, Metalheads. Leave thumbs up, comments, and please share on social media. Stay metal, Metalheads. Thanks for watching. Okay, we're speaking to Kasper from Manticora. Welcome to Friday 13th, my friend. I hope you're having a good day.
Thank you very much, Jason.
Yeah, good to speak to you. So I'm going to ask you some warm-up questions first, like I do with all artists that I interview. As a bass player, who inspired you to be a bassist and who are your influences?
Actually, it was quite a coincidence. That was actually in 1988. I was in this club, like after school care, for kids. And I used to play the drums actually. And there was this band with my local classmates, and there was already a drummer. So the guy who was like in charge of the band, the grown-up guy, he was like, "Hey, we need a bass player." So, okay, I'll just do it, I guess. Then I didn't have really, I just wanted to hang out with my friends, So I just started picking up the bass and found it quite amusing and just, yeah, started to listening to some metal. And then I got into Halloween and Markus Foskop was like, that was just, he's like my big idol. So I really liked his bass lines. And I got into Iron Maiden, Steve Harris, of course. So I kind of grew up with melodic metal, listening to Iron Maiden and Halloween a lot, and therefore the bass players of those bands are kind of my influences. The older I got into like, I listened to Dream Theater, but I was like, okay, I'm never gonna reach that level like John Young, So I kind of stick to Steve Harris and Markus Gustav and did some. I actually had a Maiden tribute band with Lars for many years here in Copenhagen, so I can play at least 100 Iron Maiden songs today.
Okay, so I mean, why did you switch from drums? Was you finding drums too complicated to play? Was that the reason?
No, that was only because the band in my club already had that drummer from my class. So I actually played the drums for 2 years after that, but then I just found the bass playing pretty cool and just kind of wanted to go that way instead, I guess. So, but the drumming gave me like a really good sense of rhythm. So I'm still glad I did play the drums. My dad is a musician too, so I used to go to his rehearsing room as well, and hang out and try the drums, guitars, bass. But it was actually kind of a coincidence that I started playing the bass, but I kind of grew on me, and now I just love it. So
Okay, then. So who's your dad? Is he in a famous band?
no, not really. He's just playing everything from like fiddle to piano and guitar, and he just loves metal. He's like 70 now, so he grew up with the Black Sabbath, Ozzy Osbourne, Brain Funk Railroad, and yeah. So and I got him into Symphony X and Dream Theater and Halloween, and so he just loves metal right now. He always attends my shows. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
So when you're obviously like your progressive rock metal stuff. Are you influenced by? Do you know the band Psychotic Waltz? Because I think those guys are absolutely amazing musicians.
Yeah, I do know the name, but I never checked it out.
Whoa,
I'm
what are
not
you
in.
doing, man? You need to
I
check those guys
know.
out. Forget about Dream Theater. So no.
I'm mostly more into like power metal and melodic death metal. I am also a big fan of Arch Enemy and Flames, Soilwork, the older stuff.
Yeah.
So when it gets too proggy, it's too much for me. I need the hook line and the more simple stuff. But I do like when the musicianship is really cool.
So when you said you like power metal, is it European power metal or American? I'm more into the American power metal.
Well, mostly European since I grew up with Halloween and Gamma Ray and Blind Guardian, but I also loved Ice Earth, and Nevermore, and yeah, so kind of a mixture. And you can probably also tell that Manticora is a mixture of European and American power metal, or we used to be. Now we're like a mixture of everything, I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah. I mean, I listen to bands like Hellstar and Omen, the old American power metal bands. To me, that's where power
Yeah,
metal came from, America, not Europe,
yeah,
America.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, Jack
And if you don't,
Panzer is also
yeah, and if you don't know those bands, you need to check them out, Casper, definitely.
yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you another question then. So, what was your first band you was in? Did you record any demos before joining Manticora?
Yeah, I actually knew Manticora because I was playing in a Copenhagen-based band called Wuthering Heights.
Yeah, I've got the CD. It's friends of mine from
Yeah,
Tamarose because I'm friends with
yeah,
Tamarose guys.
that's the Christian Krille,
Yeah,
exactly.
Krista's a great guy.
Yeah, I just love that guy. But I was actually playing the bass on the first album within. So I was
I've
like
actually
8.
reviewed that record many years ago.
Oh, really? Well, that's
Yeah,
me. I was like 18 or something.
I think that was released on Serenity Records. I think was it? Yeah,
Sensory
yeah,
and
yeah,
Laces Edge, some American
yeah,
label, I
yeah. It's
think.
Ken
Yeah, yeah.
Goldsmith. Good, Ken Goldsmith.
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly, exactly. So that was kind of my first like serious professional kind of thing. I had like, other bands we did records and demos, but that was only like guys in the area I grew up. So Wuthering Heights was kind of my first real professional band. And that's the first recording I did also. So, and we were on the same management as Manticora. So I kind of knew Manticora already. I was hanging out with Lars and Christian and Matt's the old
Don't
drummer.
tell me it was instrumental management.
Exactly, exactly. It
That's
was.
Lars's label. Yeah, that's Lars's company.
Exactly. Yeah, so we were all kind of friends already, and I already had the Iron Maiden chicken going on with Lars at that point. And then their old bass player, which I also knew, he was like, he left the band. He was like pointing out me, he's like, you need to take Kasper because I'm out now and go with him. And I already knew the albums and the songs, so it was like really easy switch.
So, how many albums did you record with Wuthering Heights? How many albums did you do?
Only the first one.
Why did you leave?
Yeah. Yeah, it's so many years ago. Why did I? I think I at that point, Wuthering Heights was more like a project. Eric, the main man of Wuthering Heights, the songwriter, and I wanted kind of a band. I was kind of envious on Manticore, not in a negative way, but they had this, the musicians and the friendship and everything going on, and I kind of wanted to have a band with some good mates.
Yeah.
And Wuthering Heights was more like a project. We did have a good time and we were good friends, but I just wanted to have a band to play live, all that stuff. And Wuthering Heights was not that at that point. So,
Yeah,
and then I
it's kind of
joined.
weird because they did have a
Yeah,
little hint of Tad Moroz in there as well in that music, if I remember rightly.
yeah, exactly. So, yeah.
I keep in touch with Krista all the time. I've known that guy for like 20 years or so.
Oh, you have? Oh, he's a lovely guy.
Okay, then. So, Wuthering Heights was your first band. After that, did you go to Manticora? Or was that the next one?
That would have been, yes. And I also had another band on the side that was called Evil Masquerade with
Yeah, I remember that. I think
Henrik.
were they Santa Frontier Records?
I think, yeah, I was on those albums. I was on the first two ones. That was Henrik Flyman was the main writer. He was the guitarist. That was kind of his project. And Henrik Brockman from Royal Hunt, ex-Royal Hunt, was the singer, and then me and a guy called Dennis on drums, previous of Hate Sphere here in Denmark. So yeah, we kind of had a band going on at some point. We didn't really do many shows, but we did two albums and we were signed to Avalon McKee in Japan and we were signed to Frontiers in Europe. That's true, yeah.
Yeah,
So I kind of had that.
I remember reviewing those albums. It's like it's kind of strange, Casper, that we know a lot of people are in the same circle.
We do, yeah, yeah. So as soon, I mean, Denmark is such a small country, so as soon as you kind of get professional here, everybody knows everybody.
Okay, then. So you did two albums with Evil Masquerade. I mean, what happened to those guys? Was that a project again?
Yeah, it kind of was. I was involved in Manticora at the same time as Evil Masquerade, so I don't know. I can't remember or recall why I left because I wasn't. I'm still talking to Henrik Flyman that day today. I just met him on the street like a month ago. He's living in the area where I live. I was just walking back the street, and it's like that's Henrik on his bike right there. It's like, hey. So we meet up once in a while for a beer and catch up. But I think I just left because Manticora was taking my time. And yeah.
Okay, I mean, you joined the band, I presume, for the album Darkness with Tales to Tell. Was that your first album?
No, I joined when it was just released, but Hyperion was my first album.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, they had written half a song. I think it was Kansas actually. So I kind of joined the band just before we started writing all the material for Hyperion. So that would be my first album. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, when I listen to the early stuff of Manticora, it's very Blind Guardian, Iced Earth.
Mm-hmm.
It's they're probably the two main influences. Am I right in saying that? Would you agree?
I would, yeah. I couldn't not agree on that. I mean, everybody in Manticore loves Blind Guardian, especially in the old days and the older Blind Guardian. And I didn't know about Nevermore and Ice Earth before I joined Manticore. So they kind of pitched it to me, and I was like, "Whoa, that's pretty cool." So I can totally tell what you're saying that Manticore used to be a mixture of Blind Guardian and Ice Earth. Yeah.
I mean, your first album, Hyperon. I mean, what memories do you have for recording that album? Was it a great album for you to come into the fourth album actually? Sorry, it's the third album. It was an EP, then three albums. That was your third album. You came into that on the
Yeah,
third album.
yeah, that's true. Yeah. Oh, sorry, I didn't understand the question. Sorry.
So, what good memories do you have of recording the album, your first album?
It was cool for me because on that album we changed producer. We used to use Jakob Hansen, and we
Jacob's a
did.
great producer.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, yeah. But we were like with him back in the days. He was young and unexperienced. So,
It's funny you should
we were
mention
kind.
him, Casper, because I used to know his old band, Invocator. I was real good friends with them back then.
Oh, oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
I got
that's
my
that's
name. I got
kind
my
of
name on their first album
that's
back in the
awesome,
day.
man. That's cool. Yeah.
So
So Jakob
Jacob
is
was
the.
your main guy back in the day.
Yeah, he was. I know that both Roots of Eternity and Darkness of Tales to Tell are recorded and mixed by Jakob. But the cool thing about Hyperion, personally for me, is that we did the recordings at Jacob's place, but we changed to Tommy Hansen for the mixing part. And
Another good
Tommy was
producer.
the he
Another
was the
good guy.
producer of the Keeper of Seven Keys Halloween albums. So
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I was like 22 years old, a huge Halloween fan, and I happened to work with Tommy Hansen, who did the Halloween albums. So it was like gold albums on the walls. It was a cool experience as a fanboy, if you could put it that way. So yeah,
So I mean, that was a great album. Like I said, Eight Deadly Sins was the next album that you did. Well, how much
yeah.
was of a progression was that for you after doing the Hyperion album? How much did you see the band progress for that album?
I think we kind of progressed in the way that Hyperion was. Where there were some pretty long songs on Hyperion, where 80% became more mainstream in a way. Without it was not on purpose, I think. And we did add some keyboarding from Finn Searler, who
Oh
really,
no, yeah, Twilight. I used to be. You see, we
yeah,
all know the same people, Casper. It's
we do.
unbelievable. I mean, even Twilight mentioned me on their albums back in the day because I used to be friends with Andy, the singer, as well. So
Oh, oh, that's cool. Well, so yeah, he was on the album and really like lifted it with the writings of the keyboards, and it just had a more professional twist, I would say. We did a signing with Massacre Records on that album too.
yeah.
We did a support tour in Europe with Angra, and it kind of just took the band from a lower level to a more professional kind of international level, if you can put it that way.
Do you actually see anything of Finn? Because he's gone off the radar. I haven't spoke to him in years. I don't know what he's doing.
Well, I did see him, but it's a couple of years ago. I had another band while I was out of Manticora, where me and the guitarist, who was also in Manticora, we kind of still talk to Finn, but I haven't heard from him in many years now. No, so he's around, but he's not in the business here in Denmark right now.
That sucks, man. I mean, look at all the albums you've done with Manticora. How do you see each album as a progression since you've joined the band?
I think we just to like put it like it's we just got more and more professional on each album. I would say learning by doing. The music kind of evolved in a way we wanted to. We never compromised on our songwriting. We just wrote what felt right for us. So I would just say production-wise and the way we were writing the music, putting the structure of the songs just got better and better and more professional with each release. Not saying that the older releases are bad, they were just like immature, but in a positive way. I mean, so you can just tell if you listen to our newer album, Mycelium, Contra Darkness, that the production and the songwriting and the performing of the music, our skills are better these days as well.
That's good. So, how long did it take to record Mycelium album? And also, did you have any other titles for this album?
The recording was kind of weird because we did everything ourselves this time. So normally, you book a studio for 4 weeks, you do the album May or whatever. But now it's like, well, we could work on it all the time. So we kind of used most of 2023 to just do the album. At some point, we kind of closed the songs, the structure to say now this is how they are, so we can put bass guitar and guitar on it. But yeah, it was like in a evolution all the time at some point. Also because we did, programmed drums, so we could always change things, if we wanted to. But so it took almost a year, but it was not like, I mean, I think we were done in August or something like that last year. So
So,
maybe
what?
like
So, what
yeah.
happened to your drummer? I mean, obviously, you've got no drummer. Why program drummer? I mean, there's been hundreds of drummers out there wanting to join your band. What was the reason for you?
Yeah.
Reason that? Why
Well,
did the old drummer leave?
he was not really leaving, but that was Lawrence Dinamarca. He was from Sweden, so it was kind of a hassle every time, back and forth from Sweden, and he got kind of busy as a stand-in in Scar Symmetry, and
Good
normally
band.
we did so. Yeah, exactly, the band Scar Symmetry. And normally we just did program drums for the demo, sent them to Lawrence so he could rehearse them, and then he went to the studio and did the recordings. But as you know, there's like not millions of dollars in being a heavy metal musician, so we kind of skipped that. I mean, it's like we saved a lot of money by doing the drums ourselves, and the way you do it these days is that even though Lawrence is playing the drums, you put it in a computer, they quantize them, you put samples on them. Just figured we could do it ourselves, and we wanted to try it out, and kind of knew that Mycelium did it before, Devin Townsend did it before, and we were like, well, if they can do it, we can do it as well. So we really went into like a drumming process and kind of personalized everything ourselves and stuff like that. So it's not too mechanical. So if you
Okay.
wouldn't know, you wouldn't know. I would.
Yeah, you've just told me, so the secret's out.
Yeah,
So, do you have a
yeah.
drummer now for when you start touring? Have you got
Yeah, we
some?
have. Yeah, we just did a Danish tour, 8 shows here in Denmark. Just yeah, this previous weekend was my first weekend off in 7 weekends, so that was weird
How did it
to
go?
do.
And who was drumming for you? How was the tour?
It was really good, yeah. And our new drummer is really awesome. It's just a session guy called Christopher. He's here from Denmark. He's 26 years old, young, energetic guy, and he's just blasting away, and it's really, really good. So yeah, have a good time with him. Chemistry is perfect. Yeah, so that's pretty cool.
Cool. So the name Mycelium, what other titles did you have for this album besides that? I mean, the artwork's pretty impressive, as you can see behind me.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think we did some stuff back and forth, but at some point, I think we decided to do this whole mushroom that everything's connected, and mycelium was just so obvious. I can't recall if it was Lars or Christian who came with the title. It's like, it should be mycelium, but it should. So yeah, so I think our rehearsing room is right next, or it's in the forest actually. So often we go to the woods and we like gather mushrooms and we eat them, not like for intoxication, but for like good food. Lawrence is pretty good at
No, you want to
finding the
listen.
good
You want to
ones.
listen to Sarcotic Waltz if you like your mushrooms, because it's kind of
Yeah,
mushroom
yeah.
music.
I could imagine.
I'll send you a link so you
So
can check them out. But I mean,
yeah, you
that's
should.
the only title you had. So what does it mean to you, that title?
Well, one thing that we actually do like eating mushrooms again, food not for intoxication, but it's also the whole that everything's connected. it's also what the album is about. We have all the spirits and blah blah blah. But the whole thing about everything in the universe is connected, and yeah. So Mycelium was pretty obvious. That's yeah.
Okay, then. So, I mean, the music, as we know, on this new album has got dark. It's got some black metal elements. Whose idea was it to put all these blast beats and darker elements? Obviously, the cover's dark, so that gives it kind of
Yeah.
a. Whose idea was it to go heavier for this album?
Well, I think it came from all of us at some point. I was out of Manticora for 5 or 6 years, so I'm actually not on the first one, the To Kill to Live to Kill album, but they already there started to do some heavier stuff. And I kind of, when I got back to the bands, like I like that heavy, the death metal parts, growl and stuff like that. So I really told the guys that if we can keep this, that would be really cool. But in general, it just comes to us when writing music. I did some really heavy riffing. I did some big parts of the song Demon Day, which is pretty black, and so I think it's just a natural progression of the band that we kind of started to listening to other bands. I'm a big fan of Dimmu Borgir as
I
well,
was
and
going
I
to
like
say there's a lot of Dimmu Borgir on some of the songs on this.
exactly, yeah. And Christian got into Dimmu Borgir as well, and he's the main writer of the band, Lars. So I think all the different influences that we have kind of affects the band. I like death metal, the old In Flames,
You like these
all
guys as
melodic death
well? Do
metal.
you like these guys as well?
Yeah, a little bit too rough though, but yeah.
So what's your favorite songs, Casper, off the new album? What's your favorite songs?
I would go with, I think the title track Mycelium is just so catchy and so modern, but I would say that the chorus of Dia de los Muertos is just, yeah, my favorite. It's just majestic.
Any other songs?
And yeah, I like the Golem Sapiens, it's just furious.
Okay, then. So, I mean, the album, I presume, was produced by yourselves because Jacob was once again mastering and mixing it for you. So, getting back with Jacob again.
Yeah, actually, we did the mixing ourselves.
Okay. And
So Christian, the guitar player, he was kind of, I think I can do this by myself. Okay, let's go. So he did all the recordings and he did all the mixing, and then we sent the mix to Jacob, and he did the mastering for us. Since he's
right.
a really good friend of us, because we were kind of after the mixing, we were like, okay, now we can't do anymore, so because we're gonna fuck it up probably. So we kind of reached out to Jacob and said, okay, can you help us from here? And he was like, yeah, sure, we can do this and do that. And he did the mastering for us and sent some pretty good files back to us. We were really liking
Good.
the result. So yeah.
Okay, then. So, what sort of album reviews have you been getting for this album? Has it been positive? Most of the press, the fans liking it?
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah. We had some, I think mostly we had really decent reviews from like 7 to 10 out of 10. We had some middle ones, we didn't have those, hey, this sucks, but we had a really, I would say in general, really good reviews. And mostly the fans were like, really, I mean, the fan reviews has been really good so far. Yeah, you can tell. I think we got a lot of new listeners because we have the elements of death, black, and stuff like that. So we have a broader spectrum this time than we normally have, because normally we just reach the fans of Blind Guardian or Power Metal. While now we're reaching a broader audience at some point because we have all those elements in our music.
Okay, then. So, you guys have just toured, like you said, you just done a Danish tour. Are you doing a
Yeah.
European tour? Are you going to do a European tour or a UK tour at any point in the future this year?
It's not certain right now. Right now, we have some festival shows in Germany, and we have a support act for Blind Guardian in the Netherlands in May, and then we have a Japan tour actually. So, but we're still like trying to book shows for the fall, and if the right tour comes up, we'll definitely grab it. So we don't have anything certain right now, but we certainly have something for you at some point.
Right, Casper, I'm a drum tech and I work with the band Anvil from Canada. So if you guys ever need a
Okay.
drum tech, I'm available until July this year.
Really? We're
Yeah,
actually playing with Anvil in Germany at the Iron Fest.
yeah, I think I spoke to Rob because they're doing Hellfest as well.
Oh, cool. Oh, that's pretty awesome. Well, I should let you know definitely if there's a bigger tour, we can figure out something. That's for
Please do,
sure.
please do. So,
Sure.
any chance you guys are going to be recording on a DVD, or do you think it's nothing that the band will want to consider doing?
No, that's too much of a hassle. I mean, both economically and no, it's just albums and yeah, no live recordings or anything. I'm
Okay, what?
sorry.
That's okay. What about new material? Have you got any new songs wrote for the next album? Is it still dark like this album? Any?
Not yet. We do have when we do write albums, we have a lot of riffing. So a lot of riff still like we call it kind of a riff bank. So the things we're not using, we can always use it at some point. So we haven't really started anything, but we're probably gonna do it within this year. And I would probably assume that it's getting that we're
Right.
going down the path we are right now, more heavy stuff. Yeah, we like it.
All right, Casper. I'd like to thank you for doing this interview. Have a nice day. Do you have anything to say to the people watching this on YouTube? Do you want to tell them your thoughts? Anything you've got to say to them?
Yeah, sure. Well, thank you for listening. And I would really say that you have to check out this album because it contains a lot of different genres in metal. So even though if you like black metal, death metal, power metal, progressive metal, you'll probably find something you like within this album. So give it a spin, no matter what kind of metal you like. You won't be disappointed. It's a
But
badass album.
but
That's pretty awesome.
have a nice day, Casper. Keep in touch.
Yeah, sure. All
Cheers,
right.
brother. Take care.
Cheers,
Bye.
brother.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye bye.